All right, I'd like to call the October 14th, 2024 City of Fayetteville regular meeting to order. And I would like to have, do we have someone for the, I do not have it. Let's see. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Pastor Dillard from Rivers of Living Water Church of God. If you could please come up to the podium. Good evening.
Good evening. It's Integrity Ministries Global Church.
I'm sorry.
It's no problem.
If we could all stand.
Yes. I'm honored to offer this prayer for our city council members. According to 1 Timothy 2:1-7, we ought to pray for those in authority. So tonight, I pray that God would give our council members wisdom, understanding, and guidance as they deliberate on the agenda before them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, if we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So thank you, Pastor. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your ministry and where y'all are located? And I apologize for the wrong name.
Oh, it's no problem. I'm from Integrity Ministries Global Church, where Sharon Thompson Jernigan is our apostle, and we're located at 2118 Dobbin Hobbs Road in Eastover, North Carolina.
Very nice.
So we're a church where everybody's somebody and Jesus is Lord. Amen. And as far as you want me to let you know what upcoming events now or later?
Absolutely, yes,
Yes.
please. Floor is yours.
Yes. No, let me get that up. I just had it. Sorry about that. So for our upcoming agenda that we're going to be having is, first of all, we're going to have a Word Empowerment and Faith Center, the Fire of God Conference, where we're going to have our own prophet, Evan Hunt, and it's going to be at 114 Ridgeway Drive, Suite 106. Fayetteville, North Carolina, and that's going to be this Saturday, October the 18th at 12 p.m. And also we're going to have Total Woman, Rooted and Grounded, where our own Apostle Jernigan will be speaking on October the 25th at 7 o'clock p.m. And that's going to be at the, I don't remember where that's going to be at, but it's going to be in Fayetteville, and it's on the announcements page. And also, we'd like everyone to save the date for November the 19th, our Founders Day celebration. And it's going to be held at Global Impact Church, where Apostle, I can't even think of his name now. Yes. Kingdom Impact, yes. Global Ministries, I'm sorry, yes. That's going to be at Murchison Road on November the 17th at 3 o'clock p.m. So we're going to be honoring our Apostle Sharon Thompson Jernigan. So asking everyone to save the date. And we're going to have a special guest, Apostle T. Renee Glenn from South Carolina.
Very nice. Do you have a phone number or a website that they could go to get all this information?
I believe, yes. It's on Facebook, on the Integrity Ministries Global Church page.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. I am going to go to Councilmember Thompson for announcements.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and good evening, everyone. Let me remind everyone that October is Breast Awareness Month. That's why I'm in the colorful color of pink, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, trying to uplift all those who have suffered from breast cancer. Early detection is critical for a higher rate of success. You have a genetic mutation or a family history of breast cancer, please spend time to go see your doctor. Also this month, on the 26th of October, is the End Alzheimer's Walk. It will be held at Segra Stadium starting at 10 p.m. You can register at alzheimers.org/Fayetteville. That's act.alzheimers.org/Fayetteville. All donations will go to End Alzheimer's, and they have already raised over $120,000. So this is a great event that you don't want to miss. Also this Friday is Gun Violence Call to Action Forum. Again, this Friday, Gun Violence Call to Action Forum. It is from 6 to 9 at the Diamond Venue at 328 Gillespie Street. That's 328 Gillespie Street this Friday from 6 to 9. Last but not least, this Thursday is the start of early voting. Please don't forget, you have to go vote. Vote like your life depends on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Thompson. I will go to Councilmember Banks McLaughlin and then Councilmember Davis.
Thank you. I just have three quick notices. On tomorrow, we're having our community sustainability workshop from 6 to 7:15, and that will be at the Bill Chris Center at 917 Washington Drive. So please make sure you come out to get some great information. Also, October 19th from 10 to 2 at the Tony Rand Student Center, they're having a FTCC's Youth Dental Health Fair. This is a free event. They're going to have educational presentation, free dental screening, so please make sure to come out. And also WIDU, they're having their anniversary scheduled October the 24th through the 25th. For more information, please go on to the WIDUanniversary.com website. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Councilmember Banks McLaughlin. Councilmember Davis and then Councilmember Hondros.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I just want to let everyone know there is a Fall Community Festival this Saturday, October the 19th, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. There will be free food, games, haircuts, medical supplies, and entertainment, and much more at 6575 Fisher Road. That is from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. this Saturday. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Councilmember Hondros.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Just wanted to bring awareness today, of course, is Indigenous Peoples Day, where we celebrate the Indigenous American peoples and commemorate their histories and cultures. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hondros. So if anybody ever says there's nothing to do in Fayetteville, I think we've proven tonight there's plenty going on in the city of Fayetteville. So if I could have Miss Dorothy McCahan, I'm sorry. McCahan to meet me down at the podium. And the family. Yeah, family, everybody. Where's Miss Dorothy? Here, Joe. On her behalf. I'm so sorry. Well, honey, come on up here so they can see you. You are way too pretty in this pretty skirt. See you. Okay, Councilmember Hare, we're ready.
Yes, and good afternoon, everyone. From the Office of the Mayor proclamation, whereas Mrs. Dorothy Neal McCahan was born on May 3rd, 1946, to the late Gertrude and James Neal in Bradenton, Florida. Whereas Mrs. McCahan was the billboard of ambition and intellect and kindness. She made whomever she met feel they were the most important person in the world. And whereas Miss McCahan's signature smile welcomed and comforted many. She was admired and loved by many whose lives she touched in a role of mother, grandmother, pastor, caterer, and friend. And whereas Mrs. McCahan was a giver of knowledge and wisdom, a helping hand in her community, a mother figure to many, a listening ear, a master at her craft. She showed people around her that with hard work and dedication, you could build a business. And whereas Miss McCahern started Dorothy's Catering more than 30 years ago after the formation of a regular cooking class and school. She was the head chef at Snyder Memorial Baptist Church and fed many through the community annual care clinic dinners. And whereas Miss McCahern loved God, amen, she always put him first, and he blessed her for her faithfulness. And whereas Mrs. Dorothy McCahan was married to the late Daniel McCahan for 40 years, they have 7 children: Janice, Deetra, Janella, Dana, Danka, Dennis, and Daniel. Now, therefore, I, Mitch Colvin, Mayor of the City of Fayetteville, North Carolina, and on behalf of the citizens, the 208,000 citizens of Fayetteville, and my fellow City Council colleagues, do hereby honorably proclaim the 12th day of October in the year of 2024 as Mrs. Dorothy McCahan Day. In witness thereof, I have unto set my hand and caused this great seal of Fayetteville to be affixed the 7th day of October, 2024. I made it through.
It is of great pleasure that I accept this proclamation on behalf of Dorothy McEachern, her family, and friends. This is an extremely special moment. The recognition of a woman we witness being an angel on this earth is beyond words. I feel humbled, privileged, and proud, and honored to have been able to call her mother, pastor, friend, and confidant. She worked diligently to uplift and support our community. If she had $5, you had 4 if you needed it. If you had a dream, she supported it, and she was the first to sow into it. I accept this honor with the promise to continue to promote her legacy. Today we celebrate her legacy. Let us remember this countless lives she touched, the joy she brought into our community. Let us continue her legacy by nurturing our community with the same kindness and generosity she embodied. May her spirit inspire us to create, connect, and cherish one another. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So if I could have the next people that we have come up.
Blindness
for the-
Awareness Month.
Yes, for the Blindness Awareness Month. I know my good friend Steve Goodson is on his way up here. Right here.
All right.
Do some of you want to come around
You got
here?
plenty room on this side, both sides. Fayetteville Office of the Mayor proclamation. Whereas the current situation is that there are over 7 million Americans with vision loss or blindness, with about 1 million of those being blind. And whereas in 2022, there were approximately 55,711 legally blind students in educational institutions in the United States of America. And whereas workers with vision impairments earn less than those without, with a minimum annual earning difference of $19,656 for workers age 18 to 64. And whereas it's projected that the number of people with blindness and vision impaired will double by 2050, highlighting the need for long-term solutions and planning. And whereas the remarkable achievements of many blind Americans, such as Helen Keller, stand as a testament to the resilience and the determination of individuals with vision impairments. And whereas the Vision Resource Center Board, staff, and members celebrate 85 years of helping every blind citizen to lead a full and independent life, which includes productive employment in competitive job market. Now, therefore, I, Mitch Colvin, Mayor of the City of Fayetteville, North Carolina, and on behalf of City Council and more than 208,000 citizens, do hereby proclaim the month of October in the year 2024 in honor of Blindness Awareness Month. And witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the great seal of the city of Fayetteville to be affixed this 30th day of September in the year 2024. Let us give an applause for our Blindness Awareness Month.
On behalf of the Vision Resource Center, we'd like to thank the city of Fayetteville for recognizing us for the tremendous amount of work that we do in this community to help people that can't help themselves do certain things that they enjoy doing, that you can enjoy doing, and they can't. So it's an honor that at least that the city has seen fit to recognize us and honor us, and it's a privilege for the Vision Resource Center to accept this award, and thank you very much. I'd like to introduce Fred. Do you have something you'd like to say? He's a better speaker than me.
I think he said it all. He's the chair, so he said it all. But once again, thank you all. We appreciate it. Thank you all.
All right, thank you everyone that has come out and we've been able to celebrate. So with that being said, I would like to go to City Manager Hewitt for the City Manager's report.
Thank you, ma'am. Chief Dove? I'd ask Chief Dove utilize this time to give council a further update on our efforts as a community to aid our family members and out west. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. How is everybody doing tonight? I stand before you tonight a very proud person, and I want to share that with y'all because I want you all to feel the pride that we do. Your city employees have been just getting it done out west. 18 USAR members went the day before the storm, and that's fire, police, and Cumberland County EMS. So when the storm hit, they were actually doing live rescues and searches at the time. They've been on the ground ever since. Matter of fact, ACM Phelps is at the training center now welcoming 18 back that we sent last Saturday. We sent 18 more this morning. So we have 18 USAR members still on the ground doing searches and recoveries every day. We also sent a battalion chief and our fire investigator right after the storm to aid Asheville Fire Department while they were trying to recover and check on their families and do the things that they needed to do. They came back and they have some stories to share. I would love to get them to meet with you guys and share just what they did. We also sent a 3-person group from our hazmat team to go do hazmat assessments. Last week, they came back last night. And along with our USAR team this morning, 1 fire inspector went. He'll be doing a 7-day rotation. And public services, I'm going to speak up for Ms. Sheila. She has 12 members going sometime this week. They don't have a definite date yet, but they're doing 12 members this week for 7 days and then 12 members the following week for 7 days to help with infrastructure. So we're very proud of our employees. They're chomping at the bit to help, and they're really making a difference. So I want to share that pride with you guys. And thank you for your support, and thank the management for their support. What we would like to say to the listening audience and to everybody else, there are ways that you can help. Please get with a charitable agency, the American Red Cross, United Way, something like that, and do what you can do. But do make sure you use a reputable organization because there are scammers out there, unfortunately. But with that, if you have any questions, if not, I'll have a seat.
Thank you so much, Chief. We appreciate all the hard work that everyone's doing. Thank you. Okay, we will go to the approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion? I have a motion from Councilmember Hare and a second from Councilmember Banks McLaughlin. Okay, so I think we're ready to vote. No, Councilmember Benavente. Of course you did it. Yep. All right, that is unanimous with those that are present. Thank you. All right, we are going to go to the public forum. Per City Council Policy 120.9, this is a time that residents have input and a voice in what goes on in their city. The public forum will last no longer than 30 minutes. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes to address the City Council on issues related to the City of Fayetteville. No time will be yielded to any other speaker by another speaker. Individuals wishing to speak at tonight's public forum should have signed up with the office of the city clerk no later than 5 p.m. on the day of the meeting. When the city clerk calls your name, please approach the podium and clearly state your name and residential address for the record. When the When the light located on the podium changes from green to yellow, you have 30 seconds left to speak, and when the light changes to red, your time is expired. Any remaining speakers on the public forum list that did not get an opportunity to address the city council will have the option to have their name placed at the beginning of the next scheduled public forum list of speakers. So with that being said, I will turn it over to Clerk McGill.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Tonight we have 12 speakers signed up. Our first speaker is Miss Gwendolyn Fuller. Miss Gwendolyn Fuller.
Good evening, Ms. Fuller.
Good evening, everyone. This is my first time here, so I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing. I guess I'm just letting you all know what my concerns are. I have 3. The first one is going to be the speeding that's on McPhee Drive, McBain, McCray, and McGill. All of those streets are short streets. I went to the chief of police about maybe 2 years ago. I expressed that to him, and there was a speed bump put there, but that bump was like when we were riding the school bus hit the bump and we go up in the air, and that's how it is with the drivers that come through there. Speed limit is 10 miles per hour. Come up a little further, it's 25 miles an hour. They come through there doing 35, 40, 50 miles an hour, and it's a curve going both ways. There's a 80-some-year-old lady and myself, we do our own yards. If they lose control of those cars, they're going to either hurt us really bad or they're going to kill us, okay? That's one of the concerns. I saw 2 patrol cars sitting at McGill and Executive Drive one Sunday, and I stopped and I inquired on where there was a law for the patrol men and women to sit on private property. I was informed that it's not against the law to do that. I informed them they can sit on my property at any time. So the lady that was there, she stated that she would have to get with her supervisor. Well, I provided them with my name and number. I guess they're still speaking with their supervisor on that because I've not heard anything from them on that issue. And I think that's one other thing. At Rayford Road and McPhee, there is a sign that says no trucks. I guess that means 18-wheelers on McPhee Drive. They're still coming through there. That's all I have. Thank you all kindly for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller.
Our next speaker is Mr. Sean McMillan. Mr. Sean McMillan. Okay. Miss Bobby Burgess. Bobby Burgess. Lisette Rodriguez. Miss Lisette Rodriguez. Miss Brini Oroso. Miss Tisqua Lindsay.
Hello, my name is Tosca Lindsay. It's an honor to meet you all. I would like to extend our heartfelt thank you to the City of Fayetteville and Acts Baptist Church for sponsoring our Outlaw Horse Club Educational Day on October the 5th. We had about 170 individuals that attended, from young to our senior citizens, who had the opportunity to learn about horses, and they was able to ride the horses, play on the bouncy houses, and do some arts and crafts and manipulative play. So they had a great time out there. And after everything, they went to each section and did everything. We also fed them. There was many memories that was made that day, and it was a truly great experience for every individual involved. If you would like to see a recap on the event, you can visit our Facebook page at Outlaw Horse Club, FAYNC. Once again, we truly want to show our appreciation and gratitude for allowing us to be awarded the micro grant application, and this event was successful, and we'd like to thank you all for that. Could the Outlaws please stand in gratitude? And we appreciate everything. Thank you.
And Ms. Fuller, we will have someone get in touch with you. Yes.
Our next speaker is Ms. Keisel Gilchrist. Ms. Keisel Gilchrist. Mr. Rakeem Jones. Mr. Rakeem Jones. Mr. Chelenko Hurst. Mr. Chelenko Hurst. Miss Angelina Smith. Miss Angelina Smith. Miss Jacqueline Danker. I'm glad somebody showed up tonight.
Good evening,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Danker. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Jackie Danker. I live on Argyle Road. I am here to request the council's approval for the creation of a dog therapy program. This will benefit our first responders and it will benefit the community as a whole. Due to the nature of the jobs of our first responders and the units that support them, they have a very high level of stress. Unfortunately, many of them try and handle it themselves, and this results in drug, alcohol abuse, family disruption, depression, violence, and sadly, sometimes suicide. Because of this, police departments and other organizations around the nation have started using therapy dogs. The dog is a non-judgmental listener, and he often is a shoulder to cry on. We are fortunate to be able to have scientific information that says, for the most part, that interaction with a dog actually changes the chemistry in the brain so that it lifts and calms the spirit. So if you've got happier employees, what do you have? You have lower resignations, you have lower early retirements, and you have a better attitude when they go out in the community to deal with the public. Due to the extreme generosity and hard work of Sergeant Nicole Burton, whom you all probably remember was the handler for our beloved Nero, who has since passed away, our program is ready to go. She is going to donate her beautiful golden retriever named Archie to the peer program to be used as a therapy dog. She has had this dog. Oh, this dog. I've got to tell you about this dog. This dog is so cool. Sweetest temperament, laid back. Even my cat couldn't get a rise out of this dog. So she's had the dog trained and certified by 2 renowned dog therapy organizations. The only cost to the city will be, where's Lynn Green? The only cost to the city will be insurance on the dog, and Chief Braden, is that a no? And Chief Braden has assured me that he can cover this within his budget. Because of the past brouhaha we've had lately, I do want to stress one thing. Archie will not be a member of the K-9 unit. Archie will not be required to perform any duty other than therapy, which is something that comes so naturally to a dog. Before you is a folder that I put together with articles and information that I hope will answer all of your questions. I've also included my contact information if you want to discuss this further, or better yet, if you just want to call and tell me, yes, Jackie, we love this program, go for it. You can do that too. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Danker, and thank you for all the research and the information. I'm sure this will not be the last time we talk about it. And if I'm not mistaken, they deal with 911 workers too. Is that correct? The 911 workers?
Absolutely. Like I said,
Okay.
it's for the units that support the responders. This will be your police officers. This will be your firemen, your EMTs, forensics, 911 callers, dispatch. And I also meant to mention that the community is allowed to put in a request to see if they can use the dog.
Okay, I'm going to have to tell you, your time's up. I'm sorry. Next
I've always
person.
been long-winded.
No, thank you so much.
Mayor Pro Tem, our final person that signed up to speak was Mr. Eric Hall.
Good evening, Mr. Hall.
Good evening, Council. I just wanted to use this time to speak to the North Carolinians and the people of the city, specifically on jobs. So when we go to the Bureau of Labor statistics as of August, it's like 8,000 people, 5.7% people unemployed. And I think I kind of know why. It's like, everybody heard this. Like, if you can't get the experience, you can't get the job. But if you can't get the job, you can't get experience neither. So I think my proposal is some type of program that reduce taxes for corporations to hire or form some type of apprenticeship or internship, just like countries like Sweden, Germany, Belgium, with the internships and stuff too, because too many people are coming out of school and they working in like Burger King with a master's degree and stuff like this. So I thought that was interesting because I look at these plans and these agendas. This is my first time speaking, but I just felt like I had to speak to that. What else? For the options for people who can't afford schools, we should, if we can initiate some type of trade programs like HBI, House Building Institute, and what's the other program that have people, Habitat to Humanity? I reached out to them, emailed them a couple of times. They usually like, oh, we're going to get with you and stuff. They need more program to keep our youth more active and to be able to have, if they don't want to go to school, they don't have money to do it. Trade is like the way. Trade, you can come out of jail with a trade. You can get on Craigslist, fix somebody's floor, and make a lot of money. So I was going to speak to trades. I know that property tax incentivize a lot of the developments and stuff. So I was thinking about, we have a lot of restaurants. We have a lot of eateries and stuff because Fayetteville was born. It was just a military town. If we get more recreation of things, it'll be kind of cooler. Like the little bowling place that's over by the mall and stuff like that. If it's a way to incentivize to draw more of these type of people into, it'll have more things for the youth to do too as well. So grants is good too. In the year 2000, opened up a beauty supply and stuff too. But it was like, I think I went to economic development place, and it was like, oh, it's a grant for this side of town or something like. It wasn't a lot of grants basically, And a lot of people had PPP. I wasn't even able to get the PPP, and I had a real business. So speak to things like that. So carpentry programs like Scouts, anything towards the development of the youth that they're learning some stuff. And 29 seconds. And I know my topic is, I know they got me listed as rights, but I think I'll say that for the Board of Commission. You know what I mean? They gonna see my face. They probably tired of seeing me. I got letters to Roy Cooper. I got letters to Josh Stein. I know they see my name and stuff like this. I know he avoiding me to speak because I'm gonna speak to the real problems and the real issues. And so some of this stuff talks, stop. Yeah, that was it. As much as I could do.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Mr. Hall, I do want you to know that if you go to NC Works and you go to FTCC, they both have programs that go on with employers and things like that. I don't know if you're aware with the HOPE program, but that, it would be very knowledgeable for you to go, and you may be able to open up some doors for a lot of people with that program. It's called the HOPE program at FTCC and NC Works. So thank you. There you go. That's how it starts. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, we have no further speakers.
Thank you. All right, so we are going to go to the consent agenda. I will go to Councilmember Benavente.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. I move that we approve the consent agenda with the exception of 8.0 Alpha 2.
So do you want to pull that?
Correct.
Okay. Can I get a second? I don't see it.
It's in there.
Okay. Okay. All right. I have a second from Councilmember Banks McLaughlin. So we are ready for a vote. All right. I'm missing one person. All right. That is unanimous for those that are present. All right.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. I move that we approve the request for transportation for Fayetteville visitors within the Fayetteville city limits.
Is that a second, Councilmember Green?
No.
Do I have a second? All right. So do I have another motion? Okay, it's just, now I see it. Okay, so Councilmember Banks McLaughlin second that. Do I have any discussion? All right, if there's no discussion, okay. I see what the mayor was talking about the other day. It's kind of changed a little bit. I apologize for that. Okay, Council.
Thank you,
Member
Mayor Pro
Thompson.
Tem. I was under the impression during our work session that they were supposed to give us a list of the items that they needed for us to approve other than transportation. Was the only thing they brought back to us was transportation?
Yes. That's all that was on the letter.
Did we get a list?
We got a letter.
At the work session, the direction just was for transportation needs, not a list of other items.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay. So I'm going to say I am not going to support this, and I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to support it, because I feel that we should provide transportation to them for, to pick people up from the airport and bring them back and to go do what they were needing to do. When we talked about this in the work session, we had talked about doing transportation, and I thought that's the route that we were going, and now we're saying that we will only do it while they are in Fayetteville. My understanding is they need to be picked up at the airport in Raleigh, and that they also are going to a trip in Wilmington, if I'm not mistaken. No, not in Wilmington. Durham. To go to a day in Durham. So I just want to make that for the record. I will not be voting for it, and that is my reason. Councilmember Benavente.
Thank you so very much, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. We've previously worked with this group, and we previously made it clear that Fayetteville Airport is our airport of choice. And that's why the mayor of St. Avold, when he arrived here, flew into Fayetteville, North Carolina, when previously he was scheduled to enter into the country through a different means. When we left for St. Avold, we left through the Fayetteville Airport. We've got to be keen on making sure that we are promoting what's in the best interest of promoting our city. So there's liability with our transportation being outside of our city. I don't think that's been considered. I don't think that's been factored in. So I want us to do the responsible thing and make sure that our city staff is operating within their purview, which is within city limits. I think making this exception to leave outside of that is opening us up to a lot of concerns that I don't think we've got an opportunity to address. I understand that time is of the essence with regards to this issue. So I think the most responsible thing for us to do that keeps in mind our priorities of promoting the city of Fayetteville and our airport is that we maintain transportation exclusive to our Fayetteville city limits. Thank you.
So before I go to Councilmember Thompson, if we use that as a reason that it will only be in Fayetteville, we are opening up a bigger can of worms because we take 25 children by bus to Washington, D.C. for the NLC. So we're going to have to readjust that if this is the way that we are going to move that. So therefore, I am going to go to Councilmember Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. If that is the case, then I would like for him to amend his motion and give them transportation to go to other venues that they have planned, such as the Durham.
Yeah.
If the councilman would amend his motion.
Will you accept that?
Well, I guess I just wanted to clarify, number one, when it comes to the children leaving to D.C., there is no flight currently out of Fayetteville that allows for that. That's not the case in this situation where a flight from overseas to Atlanta to Fayetteville, overseas to Charlotte and Fayetteville is an option. So that argument that it would somehow bind us to future occasions, well, no, it would be when it's not an option out of Fayetteville, then of course we would have to seek alternate flights. So I would just refute that argument. And then secondly, I think the responsible thing today, like I said, is to make sure that we are keeping City of Fayetteville employees in the City of Fayetteville. My concern is with us going outside of the limits when we haven't discussed exactly what is allowed when it comes to that, what exactly our liability is when it comes to that. And because time is of the essence, I think we should really just do what we are confident works rather than making assumptions about how we can sort of force this and figure it out. So, if it becomes the case
So
that we decide to
that
go
is
a
a
different way,
no.
we can go a different way.
That is a no to Councilmember Thompson's request.
Well, if the motion fails, I'm prepared to make another motion.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Is that it? Any other? What would you like him to repeat, the motion?
My motion would be that we will provide them transportation to their outing to Durham because they have made a schedule for where the kids are going to go, and Durham is one of the places that they're going to go. Mayor Pro Tem mentioned Wilmington. It's not Wilmington, it's Durham, correct? That we will provide them Ma'am? They're going to Duke. So we provide them transportation to and from.
Okay. I think also, just for clarity, I think I saw on there 3 different days that they're going back to and from Durham. Was that correct? 3 different days? So, okay, well, that's what was listed on here. It's 3.
Mm-hmm. Right, and that's the majority of the cost.
Durham and Raleigh. Let me pull it up.
Which is the airport. So just FYI, when the mayor came, I think there was 3 of them that came, and they all 3 flew into Fayetteville. My understanding, there is 20, how many are coming? 12 are coming and flying into Raleigh. So we all know that 12 people flying into Fayetteville is a significant more costly than 12 people flying into Raleigh. And as much as I hate to say it, it is, that's the reality of it. So are we ready to vote? All right. All right, that is 2-7. The motion failed. Councilmember Thompson, I look to you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I motion that we provide the St. of Oil the funding to get to and from their locations from Raleigh and to Durham.
Okay, I have a second from Councilmember Davis. Any discussion? All right, I'll call for the vote. All right, that passed 7-2. Thank you. All right, let's go to staff reports, and we have Mr. Gibson for Parks and Rec. We are all ready for this.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Let me see, where is that? Yep, slideshow from the beginning. There we go. All right, Council, what this is an update between myself and ACM Adams to Lindsay to help give an update on where we are with Parks and Recreation indirect costs. What you have in front of you is a basic history of where we're and this is with the Fayetteville Cumberland Parks and Recreation with the county, and we manage their Parks and Recreation District, which includes all of the municipalities outside of the city except for Hope Mills. And this gives you a basic history of where we've come over the last 20 years, starting back in 2001, all the way up to the July 1st, 2004, when the consolidation began. It gives you a basic understanding of what happened there. Since 2004, the following municipalities have come into the district, which is Linden Township and Spring Lake, which was recently done this year, early. The county opened up in 2007. We had 2 new rec centers, one in Eastover Recreation Center and one over at E.E. Miller. That's when the recreation, the city annexed in the west. Since that annexation, it included Lake Rim Park, the original agreement with the county location. The land is owned by North Carolina Wildlife, and they have a lease for about 40 years. The city passed a $35 million bond referendum. If ain't nobody said thank you, councils. The past 2, we have 2 new senior centers that have made their splash in this community. For our seniors, we have a skate park. That's a very popular item too, and we are fixing and cleaning up the tennis center. That's going to be a popular area, and it's going to add tremendous value. The sports complex is being worked on, so those are the significant items in the bond. The city has also funded 3 new aquatic centers, 3 new pool outdoor aquatic centers, the Westover, Keith Bates, and Lake Rim. And one of the admissions or deletions was that the county removed J.P. Riddle Stadium from the initial contract. Here's just a slide of how all of those pop up in our city. And you can see the widest areas where the western part of the community is. And then you can see some of all the parks facilities, whether in the city or in the district. This is a funding slide. It shows you how that Fayetteville Cumberland Parks and Recreation operation works. And you can see on the left-hand side all the city's recreation, the splash pads. Just want to make a note that we have 14 splash pads between the city and the county that are heavily used. We have shared cost in some of our what we call our county-wide programs, which is our aquatics, our seniors, and our special needs community. The city does do some extra work with DOT, which is right-of-way services. We have a mandatory understanding that we have to maintain our cemeteries. We do a great job with leaf season. Just want to let everybody know the leaf season's coming up, and we will be sending out information on how you're supposed to make sure that we do a great job with leaf season. Just want to put that out there. The facilities and service and budgets include City Hall, Old City Hall, our fire departments and our positions. With the county, you can see which is the district, and our recreations budgeting. Like I said before, the splash pads, all district parks in their communities, the 50-50 splits with our countywide programs, and then that's $60,000 for paid annual indirect costs. And then you see the positions. And at the bottom of this slide, you can see shared facilities, what that value is, and then the employees and what that value is. Just a quick slide on making sure that people understand the difference between direct costs and what indirect cost is. And that direct cost is personnel, supplies, equipment, expenses there. And then the indirect cost is basically what that administrative expense is incurred by the city that helps run the whole program for the district, from our legal staff to human resources to facility maintenance to our technology, IT department, which is doing a wonderful job. The use of the indirect costs across the city receives reimbursements from grants. We've done some real nice grants with PARTF out in the district, so that's been a plus. And then that governing the general acceptance of accounting practices, certified through Title II, and it's always based on an audit and actuals, not the budget. One of the things that we would be looking for in this agreement is to change just one line in the existing 2004 agreement, which is line 18. And at the previous, and when from the inception, the county shall pay fiscally $60,000 for recovery of indirect costs. That number has not changed in 20 years, and that's why we're looking to get this amendment done to bring that number into focus so that it has the value that it should have over 20 years. And the new amendment would be the county shall pay an indirect cost related to the operations of Parks and Recreation District to the city as determined in the most recent cost allocation plan for the city. The city shall provide such indirect cost information to the county by March 1st of each fiscal year. That would be the conversation that we would be having with the county to make sure that that number comes into focus. Here's an update of indirect costs, and I think my supervisor wants to make sure that he explains it.
Thank you, Mr. Gibson. Don't go too far. So what we want to do is just the last slide here is really just, this has been a journey to get to this point, as I'm sure you know. This just recaptures some of the more recent history when in our conversations with our county peers, but really goes back to some more informal discussions, really 5-6 years in the making of talking about this indirect cost. Obviously, we mentioned it's 20 years that this has been around. Nothing has stayed the same in price for over 20 years, and so there's been discussions and momentum to some degree to get this changed. But formally in 2023, in April, we made this request to the county. From there came a series of conversations. You can see in June of 23, this council, you all directed us to begin that formal adjustment, which meant changing that operating agreement language that you just saw. And then proceeded several conversations with our county counterparts about that, in which they asked that we look at the whole agreement and not just that one element. We met with them and came up with some language that seemed mutually agreeable to that same method, that same model that has not changed throughout this, which is, for talking about indirect cost, let's use the actual accounting standards for how you calculate indirect costs. It's not a standard that the city of Fayetteville invented or changes. It's actually a generally accepted accounting standard. And so that was the language that we inserted into, but both governing bodies have to vote and approve any change to that operating agreement. We, again, had some discussions with them in December, then followed up again in April of 2024, which then led to a meeting, I'm sure you all recall, a work session where we met in May, presented that language change to you, and pushed that, and they shared that also with the county. The county's response is they wanted to get an updated indirect cost study. We didn't have the most recent up-to-date study at that time. Of course, the methodology is not changing, but the numbers, of course, change each annual year. So from there, had further discussions. We provided them with that updated study in September. At that time, we thought our county counterparts would be giving us a response. Their initial response was they would get back to us on the week of October 8th. Since this writing, they've indicated they're looking at their November County Commissioner meeting to respond. It appears that they might have maybe even a counter proposal, but we're waiting to see what that is. So that's a really quick history of sort of the journey to this point.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay. Assistant City Manager Lindsay. I am going to Councilmember Hondros.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. Lindsay, could you go to slide 4, if you don't mind? It should be the one with the map of the county. Out west, kind of where it looks like 401 is, there's a little area outlined in red. What is that outline depicting?
That should be the annexed area, the large annexation area. Is that correct, Mr. Gibson?
Okay. Madam Pro Tem, I'm prepared to make a motion after questions.
Okay, Councilmember Hare and then Councilmember Green. Okay, I'm sorry, Councilmember Green?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, Acting Mayor tonight. I am very thankful for Mr. Gibson and Assistant City Manager. We, in my opinion, have been far too long allowing the county to utilize our facilities basically with not enough repayment of that use. If you look at that map that Councilmember Hondros just asked to be brought up, you can see that there are a lot of facilities that are on the outskirts of the city limits that are certainly utilized, probably, if truth be told, by more county residents than city residents. And we are paying that cost as city residents. And I am very thankful that we are addressing this. And while we're kind of just addressing indirect costs at this point, I think at some point we need to be looking at the direct cost as well. And they need to share in that expense also. So thank you for your continued hard work on this.
Thank you, Councilmember Green. Well said. So I will go back to Councilmember Hondros if there's not any other questions. All right.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I move that we accept this staff report and have Director Gibson present the proposed 2024 amended agreement and ask for its approval from the county commissioners and determine that they want to continue the excellent Consolidated Parks and Recreation Partnership created 20 years ago. This action will take place on the next available county commissioner meeting agenda, but no later than within 45 days.
I have a second from Councilmember Thompson. Any discussion on the motion? All right, I will ask for your vote. All right, that is 9-0. That is unanimous with those that are present. Thank you, Mr. Gibson. And Assistant City Manager Lindsay. All right. And you get to come back up for the second one?
Yes, ma'am. That's why I ain't moving.
That's right. Let's hope this one goes just as well. All right. 9.02 Glenville Lake Crossing.
Our director, and I assume our assistant city manager comes up. We had a discussion at our last work session on this item, and that the city manager, that it was supposed to come back to us in October, or some kind of way it was ended up. It was going to November, and I said, "Oh no, let residents, all the business people, the community, all of us, because all of us will be sharing in this to come in October. So thank you guys and team for allowing this item to come forward tonight. And also those of you that sit on the FAMPO, thank you all for your voting support. And we can move forward. Go ahead, Mr. Director.
This is just another update, and as Councilmember Hare said, I am glad to come up and report on this in person, just to make sure that the community understands the value add that we're going to be having with this Glenville Crossing and East Shore Up Trail. And here you have a proposed trail. If you see what's in the Glenville Lake, and if you go up to where the item number 3 is, that's where the crossing is going to take place from the Masrick side or the Bragg Boulevard side of the lake. And we intend to start the trail from a design standpoint without the bridge. We don't have the funding for that, but Mary McDonald Park will be that starting point, and we'll traverse all the way down to Murchison Road and then hang a right on Filter Plant to connect into the existing trail that's going to be coming from Masrick Park and traversing its way downtown. As you can see, one of the things that we wanted to make sure happened with this trail is what they call connectivity, making sure that the citizens on the Murchison Road side have that ability to create that walkable environment from neighborhoods, from the Murchison Road, definitely from Fayetteville State, having that understanding that the seniors at the new senior center will be able to use it. And then, as I said before, make their way through to the downtown area with some other added value as trails are funded to get down to Hay Street. As you can see, our next steps would be with Stewart Engineering is to study the flood study, pursue some federal funding, definitely the coordination with Fayetteville State. Completed task is the RFQ that's out now. So for us to pick a designer to go ahead and give us construction drawings, and then the LAP grant application was submitted and accepted, and we're just waiting from a pending standpoint as to when we can do the letter of intent. As we said in our last update with Councilmember Hare, we wanted to make sure that the community understood what was going to happen as far as a trail system in their community. So we proposed to put up these kinds of signs throughout the community and through the neighborhoods so that people are aware and they're not caught off guard in the ability to ask questions throughout this process. One of the things that happened in the past year's budget, is that there was a funding of $350,000 for us to start that design process, to get construction drawings. We were fortunate enough with our city council here and our TAC committee to get funding of $2.1 million for the construction of the walking trail down from Mary McDonald Park to Filter Plant, and that funding has been available, and we're waiting for that award letter. And that is the update.
Thank you, Mr. Gibson. I will go to Councilmember Hare.
Thank you, and I'll be moving to make a motion to accept the report to move forward. My one question was then, and it still is today, as we go back to, I guess you said it was slide 3, and one of the major concerns that came up from the survey, and gosh, I'm not sure how many folk we had over there that came to the park that night at the when the presentation and all the schematics and everything were put up along the walls at Smith Recreation Center, was the bridge. Mm-hmm. And I know this I think it's $2.45 million does not include the bridge option. What do we look like on that amount, getting that? What is the direction that we need to go? Who do we need to lobby? And a projected cost, if that's possible.
Well, I think what we would do is exactly what we did to get the 2.1. We would get the construction drawings, and then we would lobby FAMPO or DOT for grantings or funding. And currently, we have that number right at about $4 million to make that connection across the lake.
And just for the citizens and maybe even some of my colleagues that may not remember, we had a very large presentation at the Smith Recreation Center. A survey was done. We had a lot of folk that came in that night. I can't even remember the amount. And there were a number of requests and thoughts that they had: benches, chairs, historical placements throughout the park. Kind of give us a reminder.
Well, I think
reiterate what those.
And I appreciate that. It's no different than what we would do with any trail. As we go through the process of construction drawings, we're still going to come back to the community, and there'll still be meetings at the Smith Rec Center, or maybe now at the Senior Center, so that people can see that process take place as we move forward, just to make sure that we check in with the same groups that came out to Smith when this started in its inception, to make sure that they feel comfortable with the progress of the construction drawing and the center line, as they have in architectural terms, of where that trail will traverse from Mary McDonald and how we get to Murchison Road and then over to Filter Plant. So we won't leave anybody out. And Lord knows, let me say this, we will be working with PwC to make sure that we are good neighbors as we move along the water resources. So, and that somebody make sure that's on the tape. So we will make sure that we don't leave anybody out.
And once again, thank you, sir. Thanks, FAMPO. Thanks, council members, for your support, and we'll see which way we go after. Well, you have some questions? If not, I'll move. No questions? Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Mark, I'm sorry, Councilmember Benavente.
I was reading.
Clarify, those occasions with the schematics and the meetings with the people was after it was budgeted for, correct?
Well, it was only, but the $350,000 for construction was budgeted. The 2.1 was not.
I understand that, but all of the neighborhood, town hall type events afterwards were after it was budgeted for.
Yes, sir.
That's the difference. Thank you.
Councilmember Hare.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. If I could, I would like to move that that the City Council receives the report.
So I have a motion from Councilmember Hare, a second from Councilmember Davis. And before I call for the vote, I do want to say I started serving on FAMPO about a year ago, and I was it was Councilmember Benavente and I when I started out, and then through the new regime, Councilmember Hondras came on. And I do want the public to know our staff comes to these meetings at FAMPO, and they are there to support and to make sure that we are getting every grant that we can from DOT. It is probably one of the most intriguing and hardest boards I have been on to connect the dots, but I do want this residents to know that we brought in a lot of money this time around, and it was thanks to our staff and our council that came to the meetings to have the discussion. So I wanted to thank everybody publicly for that. So with that being said, I would like to call for the vote. All
Thank
right,
y'all,
that is unanimous with those present. Thank you very much. Thank you, Council. All right, we are going to 10.0, which is, we'll go to 10.01, discussion of a potential emergency watershed protection grant. Good evening.
Evening. All right. Good evening. Wanted to discuss tonight a potential emergency watershed protection grant that we're seeking council guidance if they wish for us to pursue. So just briefly, I'm going to give a grant overview, some past EWP successes that we've had with the city, potential funds for Tropical Storm Debbie relief at Sipple Avenue, discuss some challenges and opportunities, and then see what the next steps. Before we start, I'm going to have a couple of acronyms because you're going to see these acronyms throughout the slides. So the U.S. Department of Agriculture has a Natural Resource Conservation Service that has an Emergency Watershed Protection Program. And then kind of the state level agency for that is the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. So to give a grant overview, your EWP is a USDA Federal Emergency Recovery Program. It provides technical and financial assistance. Your technical assistance typically is like your survey, design, permitting, things like that. Financial assistance typically goes to construction or mitigation measures. It does not require a federal or state disaster declaration, so this is a little bit different than FEMA, which you need the disaster declaration to get funding for. And it assists communities with recovery from watershed impairments. Various activities for this grant include the removal of debris from stream channels, road, culverts, and bridges. So if you have obstructions in your channels, obstructions to a culvert, obstructions at a bridge, it can remove those. It can reshape and protect eroded stream banks, establish vegetative cover on critically eroding land so that they don't erode further, and it can also repair certain conservation practices. Additional information, the project criteria, it must provide protection from flooding or soil erosion, reduces threats to life and property. You must also restore the hydraulic capacity to the natural environment, and it must be economically and environmentally defensible. Through the EWP, NRCS pays up to 75% of construction cost of eligible recovery measures. The remaining costs would have to come from the sponsor. So the sponsor would have to come up with 25% and then any overage if there's any overruns. Eligible recovery measures, like I mentioned, sediment and debris removal, bank stabilization. Things that are not eligible through the EWP are repairs to infrastructures. So we're not repairing roads, we're not repairing bridges, things like water and sewer lines or storm drainage infrastructure. Those are not eligible expenses. So just some previous EWP grant information. In 2020, the city was awarded a little over $2 million from NRCS for emergency watershed impairments that were attributed to Hurricane Florence. As part of that, we also received an additional $715,000 from the North Carolina Department of Agriculture to cover the sponsor's share. With this, we constructed multiple bank stabilization and sediment and debris removal projects throughout the city. So here are some examples where we had some stream bank erosion, kind of the retaining walls that we put up. Again, on the right-hand side, you really can't see because it's overgrown, but you had a lot of sediment. This is kind of upstream of the Evans Lake area. They received a lot of sediment downstream when they got heavy rains, and then some of the corrective measures that we made. Sipple Avenue, that we'll get into a little more detail, was also an approved site for this funding in 2020. However, the project was not constructed. Property owners declined to participate. At that time, the city had requested right-of-way to be rededicated back to the city, and we had also requested both temporary construction and permanent drainage easements for the existing culvert for maintenance. Just for example, this is what Sipple Avenue looked like in September of 2020 when we had design drawings and funding for this. We had an estimated $180,000 for the construction cost to stabilize the embankment and remove the sediment downstream. So today, this is how Sipple Avenue looks now. So there is a potential for funds for Tropical Storm Debbie relief if we choose to pursue those. So some challenges and opportunities. The area of failure on Sipple Avenue is not public right-of-way. It used to be a city street, but there was a resolution passed in 2015 that the road was to be closed in a date in September of 2017. So back in 2015, council passed a resolution basically giving the property back to the property owners. Challenges, we need to identify the scope of the project. As mentioned earlier, NRCS will not pay for full reconstruction of the road. but they could potentially pay for 75% of the sediment and debris removal and stabilization of the area. One big question is where would the sponsor match come from? We would have to come up with 25% as a sponsor share. Would the HOA come up with that, or are there potential state funds out there? We've not pursued to see if there's any potential state funds yet. Back in August, council heard the city's comprehensive transportation plan. In that comprehensive transportation plan, there was a connectivity analysis that was looked at for one-way neighborhoods. We actually got the consultant to reevaluate Rayconda after SIPL failed. So a question, if council's desire was to reconstruct the road, it was not identified as a high priority when evaluated under criteria for the CTP. It was not ranked at all pre-failure, and then it ranked outside of the top 17 scores after the failure. So there were 64 sites in the CTP that y'all were shown back in August that scored higher. However, there are some opportunities. The removal of sediment deposits and debris would reduce potential clogging of the stream channel moving forward. You could also prevent further erosion and undermining, and then you would have the improvement of water quality in the stream. So those are some opportunities for pursuing the grant. So our next steps would be to submit a formal request for EWP assistance. That's staff's recommendation if the mitigation is desired. That is needed to trigger a site visit from NRCS where they would perform what they call a damage survey report. It does not commit the city to any financial responsibility at that time. The DRS would provide a damage description, proposed action, some environmental evaluations, and economic considerations, among others. The scope of the project is limited to just sediment and debris removal and the stabilization efforts to mitigate further erosion in the watershed. And then if we were successful in getting that grant, the sponsor share of funding would need to be identified. And we would recommend pursuing state grant funds or seeing if the HOA would participate. Another thing that we would need council direction on was if you wanted us to conduct assessments of additional sites in the city to see if they would potentially be eligible for EWP funding at this time. But this will take additional time before submitting the request for assistance. And again, we'd have to find where that sponsor share would come from. Right off the top of my head, we're not aware of any impacts to infrastructure or city assets from Tropical Storm Debbie. We were fortunate. But if that's council's direction for us to pursue that further, it would take time. And with everything else happening in the state, if we want to pursue these funds, we do not need to delay if that's the council's desire. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any, okay? Yeah. Councilmember Hondros, did you take yours off?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay.
Mr. Reeves, thank you for your presentation. A couple questions. You talked about a 25% match. Do we have any idea what the total project cost would be or total grant would be? So what that 25% might look like?
No, not right now. So when your NRCS representative will come out, they would do the damage survey report, and from that, they would give you the estimated cost of what they think it would cost to mitigate the area. So no, I don't have that dollar figure.
Based on previous projects in other parts of the city, what would be your best guess that we won't hold you to?
I would say anywhere between $750,000 to $1 million to do the debris removal, sediment removal, and then the bank stabilization.
Bank stabilization. So if we just call it for round numbers, $1 million project, we're looking at $250,000.
That would be the 25%.
The match, and then any overages or whatever's on us. Thank you for that. Can you put the slide back up on page or slide 10?
What's on the?
It was that one, I think.
Okay.
So if I'm not mistaken, and this may or may not be the slide, but I think I heard you say, well, there it is, because it says it has the 180,000 estimated construction. Those were engineered drawings for fixing Sipple Road back in 2020.
Yes, that was the estimated construction cost for the embankment stabilization.
And you said we didn't do the project?
No.
Do we know what the reason was? Why?
The property owners declined to participate.
What was their participation? What did their participation involve?
We had requested them to rededicate the road and to provide us with construction and permanent easement so that we could maintain the culvert in perpetuity.
So if we applied for the grant and were awarded the grant, would it require a construction easement, a temporary or permanent easement thereafter?
We would need temporary easements, where you wouldn't necessarily need a permanent easement.
Would we want to get that temporary easement before we apply, being that they have a history of not granting the easements?
Well, it's
Now,
hard to
maybe
say without surveying and designing yet exactly how much temporary easement you would need.
Thank you.
So, Councilmember Thompson, do you have a question?
I'd like to make a comment and make a motion, if you don't mind, if you have other questions, Mayor Pro Tem.
I do have one question. So the easement, so I'm going to go back to what I'm familiar with and what I know. So in my neighborhood, we had to have a new culvert put in. Every month, it might be every 3 months, I don't know, but I seem to see them out there a lot. We have a city employee that comes. There is a contractment that, because I stopped and asked him what he was doing, and it shows, how the water's flowing, is the embankment going well, so everything is done well, and the city is on that. If we go for this grant and they say, well, no, it's still going to be a private road, can it be a private road if the grant is given to them? Because my concern is, this is my concern, if, God willing, they get the grant, and we go and we fix everything we need to fix, and then the city or taxpayer money pays 25% of what it is to get everything fixed, it has to be a public road. And I just want to make sure that the people of Rayconda understand that, or am I wrong?
Well, this particular grant would not be building the road back.
But it'll be doing the culvert going through.
No, the culvert is washed out, so.
Yes,
yes,
well, that's not, okay.
Yeah, so we would just be,
our
so in
debris
these
went in
pictures
the
here, we
culvert.
would be removing the pipe, other debris, and then the sediment accumulation downstream.
Right.
And then we would be stabilizing these areas here so that you don't have further erosion.
Okay, so I guess my question is, if the grant is given and they get it, can they get it without having the easement? Because then it's out of our hands.
I'm sure there could be some other agreement made. With some of the other projects that we did in 2020 with the EWP, we may have gotten temporary construction easements, but we came into a construction agreement with the property owners that we were going to mitigate the site, and then they would be responsible for the maintenance.
Okay, and I understand that, and I guess where my concern is, so if the neighborhood and the HOA is in charge of the maintenance, people move, people die, things happen. So I just wouldn't want to see them in the same situation 5-10 years down the road. So that's all I had to say. Councilmember Thompson, I'll go back to you. Oh, did you? Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I just wanted to be clear that there is a difference between a temporary easement and a permanent easement. Rayconda gets temporary easements all the time, whether it's from Aqua, whether it's from PWC, whether it's from Piedmont Gas, to do work. We've never come across anybody that wanted a permanent easement. But I would like to make a motion, Mayor Pro Tem, that the city would identify, the city would direct staff to request assistance from the USDA NRCS funds to result of damages caused by Tropical Storm Debbie. And, if possible, to ask state funding for the additional 25% as already in your presentation.
Okay, and I have a second by Councilmember Benavente.
Strong second.
Any discussion? All right, I ask for your vote. One more. All right, that is 8-1 with yes. Councilmember Hare?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And so my question is, and even though I'm supporting the motion tonight, it was stated upstairs, we were talking about responsibility and who would own the dam and things along that line, especially with the ownership.
Excuse me,
So-
Councilmember Hare, are you talking about the closed session?
You cannot talk about that. So we will move on.
You can just move forward then. Thank you.
So we are ready for 10.02, the next commission, amendment of bylaws and membership. I will go to Councilmember Hare for that.
Well, thank you. This is something I know about a little bit more. We receive, or the commission, the appointments committee commission, board members, which is includes myself as chair, Mayor Pro Tem Jensen, Councilmember Thompson, and Hondros, and we received a request of amendment of bylaws from the next commission, and they are requesting, as of September, they had a motion that we will reduce their membership from 30 to 20 members. And so that is a motion on the floor to change the amendments. And yes, and we also recommended establishing the 5 alternates, which I was going to speak about that later, but yes.
All right, can I get a second? I got a second from Councilmember Thompson. Any discussion on the motion? All right, I'll call for the vote.
I just had one comment for the council. We discussed in committee allowing the alternates to count towards the quorum. That is not in here, but I will make sure it's in here before it's adopted. Just wanted to make that note.
Do we need to amend that?
We're good on it.
Okay, just wanted to make sure they have it on record. All right. Okay.
Somebody said they had a question.
Yeah.
Yes. Still one missing.
But I think, does she need to do her vote first? Okay.
For questions, so for the zoning commission, I noticed that it's 2 vacant positions. Are we going to keep that position open?
We haven't gotten
Yeah,
there
haven't
yet.
gotten
That's
there yet.
next.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right, that motion passed 9-0. That's unanimous for those who are present. So I will move on to
I'll get it.
10.03, appointments committee, recommendations for boards and commissions appointments. I'll go to Councilmember Hare and then Councilmember Banks McLaughlin.
And thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. As we continue to move forward, council, due to the fact that we were having a slow change or folk wanting to either serve on the committees or once they got on the boards or committees, that they would ask to be relieved of their duties. So we had to rerun our boards and commissions again for the vacancies, and they are the ones that are in front of you this evening. So tonight, the Appointments Committee would like to recommend the following citizens of Fayetteville for the following boards. Boards of Commission the Boards of Appeals, David Pershak-Backer and Jacqueline Tucker for Boards of Appeals. For the Fayetteville Next Commission, Ari Spears, Celeste Goston, Ernesto Hassan, and Frederick Lowe, James Howes Jr., Jessica Tandler, Maya Martin, Roxy Eppinger, Sarah Bandorga, Tara Pill, and Timothy Jacobs Jr. For our planning commissions, Alexander Keith, Ernest Logan III, and Heather Holmes. And we received a call for the North Carolina Fire Relief Fund Board of Trustees and our former fire chief, Chief Benjamin Majors, for the North Carolina Fire Chiefs Relief Fund Board of Trustees. And I move that these members be accepted.
All right, I have a motion from Councilmember Hare, a second from Councilmember Davis. Any discussion on the motion? Councilmember Banks McLaughlin, was your
Yeah, well, I
answer?
did have one thing I wanted to add. I was just waiting for this part. We still have, well, I'll let her.
I was gonna say, that was the question
Yeah.
as far as the vacant
Right.
position.
We still have a couple of vacancies that are still open, and just like we reran these vacancies, we're going to continue to do so continuously until we hopefully get them filled.
All right, Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. What is the job of the alternate candidates? What is their role? What role do they play on the board?
This is what comes up before us all the time, and I'm glad I have my committee members here just in case I leave something out. There have been a number of our boards and commissions that do not meet a quorum.
Right.
Okay? So because they were not meeting the quorums, it came up in our meetings that we started setting alternates, especially if we had one or two additional people, and that those alternates also would come to the meetings. And if someone is not there, that alternate could fill in, still meet a quorum, and still be prepared to move forward to vote.
Okay.
So we have requested alternates for a number of boards, even if they're not mentioned here tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any, Councilmember Hondros?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and thank you, Chair Hare. If I may add, also
Yes, sir.
the alternate would fill a vacancy if a vacancy arose.
All right, any other questions, comments? All right, I'll call for the vote. All right, that is unanimous for those who are present. Before we adjourn, I want to thank everybody. We started today some of us started at 3 and some of us started at 4. So thank you very much for giving us all your time today. Can I get a motion to adjourn?